From the University of King's College, this is Metrobeat.
On tonight's show, caught on camera in downtown Halifax. What do puppies and poppies have in common? And it's a living, playing with fire.
Here's your host, Jacqueline Goff.
Advances in technology make private security cameras more accessible and less expensive. As one Halifax man noticed, the number of cameras in downtown Halifax grows every year. Diane Woolley has the story.
When most people walk downtown Halifax, they don't see them, but they are on almost every street corner. They are private security cameras. Many business owners use them for the protection of their property and their customers. But more of these cameras are pointing onto public sidewalks. Ian McClellan is the owner of Mills Brothers on Spring Garden Road. His business has 3 outside security cameras.
We have no intention of spying on any of our good customers, but it has improved our vandalism rate over this past number of years since we've installed them.
John Van Gerp has created a website that focuses completely on private security cameras downtown. He says he understands why a business would try to protect its property, but it's an issue of privacy.
There's an argument that, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, why do you care if there are cameras on the street corner? And that's sort of a hollow argument to me. I mean, it's an intrusion on personal privacy, I consider it, and many people agree with me.
Van Gerp is concerned because there is no way to know what happens to the information collected by these cameras. John O'Brien speaks for HRM. He says there are laws to protect people's privacy, but the city doesn't regulate private cameras.
If somebody wants to put up a camera on their property and aim it at a public street, then there's really nothing that's going to stop them.
McClellan says he uses his cameras responsibly, and that some neighbors even feel more secure knowing they're around.
As far as neighbors being comfortable, I've just actually experienced it on a verbal basis. People say it's very nice. The street is improving because the security is improving, and we don't feel at all on display.
No, it's safety. I think that's the issue more than privacy.
Is that happening right now? You're on camera right there. Yeah, that makes me a little uncomfortable. Definitely.
Oh, I don't like that so much.
Why not?
I kind of feel like it's an invasion of privacy, my outside privacy.
Van Gerp says he will continue to update his website so that people will know when they are being caught on camera. Diane Woolley, Metrobeat, Halifax.
You've seen people wearing poppies this time of year, but what about puppies? That's right, clip-on stuffed toys with poppies on their fur. They're part of this year's Remembrance Day campaign, and it's also upsetting veterans across the country. Melody Patton tells us why these toys are causing such a commotion.
Oh, Remembrance Day is a lot of things. A lot of good times and bad times that took place during the war.
This is Roby Mosher. He's a war veteran and Poppy chairman for the past 3 years at the Legion in Waverly. He's upset over the sale of these toys, known as Poppy Puppies.
I decided I didn't want anything to do with it.
Rather than the toy, we want to stay with the poppy. It's our tradition.
The toys run between $4.50 to $10. Poppies are free, but donations are accepted to help Legionnaires.
The Poppy Fund is only for veterans' use. It's very closely watched how the funds are spent.
Money from toy sales go in a general fund for Legion repairs, but the profit is minimal.
A 50-cent profit on the Poppy Puppy, yeah. It's not a whole lot.
But they insist money isn't the issue. It's the respect and reverence associated with the poppy. They don't want to see it replaced with a toy.
One thing we don't like about it at all, we can just see a lady coming in with a couple of little children, and she might be interested in buying a poppy, but I don't think she's going to be very interested in things when the little ones start hollering for toys.
Some say the toys are useful tools to teach children about the war. Roby disagrees.
If any children are fooled by it, they'll probably be thinking that puppies grow in Flanders. I don't know.
School children have been educated on the history of war through drawing and poetry contests, not through poppy puppies.
There's so much on the market today for children that will they realize what it is after?
The Legion is selling the toys, but they hope people won't forget the power of the poppy.
It's quite impressive to see a veteran smile when he sees a child wearing a poppy.
The Dieppe Branch number 90 will be selling their poppies and the poppy puppies at the Sobeys in Fall River and through their Legion here in Waverly until November 10th. Whether you decide to purchase a puppy or to make a donation to the Poppy Fund, it's clear that the Legion wants to stick with tradition, and that means poppies, not puppies. In Waverly, I'm Melanie Patton for Metro Beat.
We're all familiar with red poppies, and now there's poppy puppies, but the white poppy has been around almost as long. It's spent 70 years promoting peace. Janet Dyson reports.
Joy Wolfrey is with the Voice of Women. She's wearing 2 poppies this year as part of the White Poppy for Peace campaign. The red poppy to remember the fallen soldiers of war, and the white to remember civilian casualties.
People are very interested in the concept, not just of peace, but that we have to stop trying to solve the war, or the problems of the world by war. And we have to remember that when we have a war, a lot of innocent people die, who, you know, they have no say in making the war, so why should they die?
They came with pamphlets, petitions, and they sang for peace. The organization wants to promote solving international problems by diplomacy instead of armed conflict. The Voice of Women say the white poppy is not meant to replace the red Remembrance Day poppies, but to emphasize their desire to promote peace.
We think that the best way to honor the dead that died in the wars is to try and ensure there are no more wars.
Members intend to get together once more before Remembrance Day to distribute more white poppies. For Metro Beat, Janet Dyson in Halifax.
Christmas Daddies, Salvation Army, and food banks are all names we hear around Christmas. But this year, there's one more to add to the list. Liz Hadfield has a story.
Pennies may not seem like much, but everyone knows that enough of them add up to something. And no one knows this better than Edna Myers. She collects pennies all year round to give to a charity.
When I was small, my mom had died, and Dad and I could have used a little help like that.
Okay. Edna collects pennies from taxi drivers, friends, and even the church. But her main collection comes from the St. Vincent's Guest House, where she now volunteers.
I think it's important because I think it just makes us realize that what we throw away can be so valuable to other people. The fact that, you know, what we don't think is worth anything actually can help people.
Well, there's so many hungry people out there, and if they have the food, maybe they wouldn't get into trouble.
The money that she collects from all her piggy banks always goes to the Metro Food Bank. It's Edna's favorite charity.
I'd like to have $2,000, but I don't think we get that far. But, a few dollars over, a little more than 1,050. We've got to make more than that.
Yeah.
Even if it's only $5 more.
It's almost Christmas season, and a lot of Christmas charities are just starting up. But there's one that's been working all year round. Edna Myers collects pennies all year to give to the Metro Food Bank, and she usually collects enough to give $1,000 worth. So save your pennies. Liz Hadfield, Metro Beat, Halifax.
Halifax is one of only 3 cities in Canada where women can get help looking their best for job interviews. Dress for Success Halifax opened its doors to help low-income women suit up for job interviews. Kathleen Rennie reports.
Donelda MacDonnell is a single mother with 6 children. She just graduated from Dalhousie University, and she is looking for work.
I was wondering what I would do if I got a job interview because I didn't own any good clothing. You simply need that professional looking outfit to get in the door.
MacDonnell's friend told her about Dress for Success. So she came here to find a suit she could wear to job interviews. But this is no ordinary store. The clothing is donated, and it is free. These people are volunteers. They help women like MacDonnell dress for job interviews, from clothes to makeup to jewelry. Gwen McPherson is president of Dress for Success in Halifax. She says volunteers do more than suit women for interviews.
They're not only outfitting the client, they're helping them to build their self-esteem and get them ready for that interview.
We have bags and tissue paper and everything is that you would have in a store, and that's what we try to make them feel like they have been on a shopping experience.
I felt like $1 million. I was thinking about the woman who had worn the outfit and who she was and why she had donated this stuff if she had been a poor woman too.
Dress for Success only outfits women.
Women face different challenges than men do. Women are judged more than men are.
Poirier enjoys helping women like MacDonnell. She says the best part is seeing how happy clients are with their new clothes.
The thing I've heard the most is, "This is better than Christmas," and then a deep breath, and then, "Well, I haven't had very many Christmases."
MacDonnell remembers her first interview. She wore the suit Dress for Success gave her.
I caught a glimpse of myself in the window when I was walking into the building, and I was like, oh, that does not look like a low-income woman.
Kathleen Rennie, Metrobeat, Halifax.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't win, but some people are blessed with gifts from God. Some people will. You have to look harder and to find the gifts. Special Olympics is about finding those gifts. My gift is I'm a survivor. I will not be voted off the island. I'm here to stay.
Tammy McKinnon was born with a learning disability. In 1998, she won 3 bronze medals at the National Special Olympics. A few years later, she overcame another challenge. Greg Morrow spoke with Tammy about her battle.
Thanks for coming in today, Tammy.
Thank you for having me.
When you were 9, you competed in your first Special Olympics.
Yes.
And when you were 15, you won 3 bronze medals
in Sudbury, Ontario,
at the
Nationals.
Nationals. What was that like?
Well, I swam in the 25 butterfly in the free in the back, and then I captured 3 bronze medals, and then I lost the gold in the butterfly because I didn't do the 2-hand touch.
What's the 2-hand touch?
Butterfly, you're supposed to do the 2-hand touch
Against the...
against the wall, and I only touched with one, so I got DQ'd.
How did that make you feel?
Awful.
Really?
Really.
A few years later, out of the blue, you started getting
Bad headaches that were like worse than migraines.
What happened?
I was practicing to go to Prince Albert for the provincial games to get into Prince Albert, and then I started getting really bad headaches. They were worse and worse, and I took all different kind of migraine pills, and none of them worked. So and then I start getting them, and then I start getting sick. So then my parents said it's time to go to the hospital, and then I got a CAT scan, and then my family doctor came in and told me I had a brain tumor.
Really?
Really.
What did you think when the doctor told you that?
I was kind of shocked at first.
What chance did he say that you had of surviving?
Didn't say much at first. All they did was send me to the infirmary in the Halifax, and then I had a biopsy done, and then they went in, like it took a piece of the tumor out, and then they checked if it was cancer or not, and then I went back, and then 2 weeks later I went to the VG, right, the Victoria General, and then I had and then I started 25 radiations, and then after the 25 radiation, I was supposed to do 6 sets of chemo, but I only did 4, and then one day my doctor came up to my room and she told me that my tumor in my brain and spine were scar tissue.
So what did you think of that?
Great. And then they did 1 more set of chemo just in case, and then they sent me home, and then I came every 3 months for checkups at the VG.
What did you do you were telling me that you did something in preparation of the chemotherapy with your hair. What was that?
I shaved it off
How come?
because, like in radiation and chemotherapy, you would have lost your hair anyways. So, because it would fall out in pieces. So I just would rather just shave it off so it would not be all over the place.
What did people think of that when you shaved your head?
Some people are shocked. I kind of had to wear like a turban or a wig to cover it up so I wouldn't make people feel bad or ask me questions.
What else upset you during the whole ordeal?
Just the fact that I had it.
Yeah.
But then I always said I would kick it in the ass and not let it come back.
So what else, that in mind, what else got you through it?
Just family and friends and people that supported me and just being determined to get better.
What would they do to help you or support you?
Oh, they would come in and visit me and talk to me, and like sometimes I'd get flowers or teddy bears, and that would always bring up my spirits and stuff like that. And when I went home, I always had the best of care to help me.
How scared were you?
I wasn't that scared. Mostly the people that were around me were more. I just thought of it getting better and better. I just did everything my doctor told me to do.
Now, how long was it before it actually went into remission?
The tumor was diagnosed in May, and then in December I had my last treatment. It probably would have been in November if they told me I had the scar tissue. Then I went back December to have the last treatment just in case.
What were you thinking when the doctor told you it was in remission?
I was like happy. I was like jumping up and down.
How has your life changed since then?
It has effect on me sometimes because I took away 9 months of my life because it was my grad year at CEC. So then I missed half of my grad year, but I had enough days because I only missed two classes, like 2 days of classes out of my 5 years.
What would you tell somebody going through the same thing that you went through? What would be your advice?
Stay strong and to do everything your doctor tells you, and to be positive, and let other people help you.
Thanks so much for coming in today, Tammy.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Many people download music from the internet. As a result, record companies have seen a dip in profit over the last few years. But as John Broom reports, something is finally being done to solve the problem, and it just might save you money.
Phil Raymond buys a lot of music. He owns more than 450 CDs. He's tried the whole downloading thing, but to Phil, nothing beats the feel of cool plastic in his hands.
I guess I just love that case in my shelf, and maybe it's a little bit of the materialist in me, but I enjoy owning it.
Still, even someone like Phil uses the internet as a tool to explore new music.
I've definitely started buying a lot more music since Napster, you know. It's just exposing me to many more artists that I would never otherwise have heard.
This is how easy it is to download a song from the internet. You just point and click. With the right program, users have access to millions of songs. The record industry has been trying for years to stop online file transfers like this. They've had some success. But look, now I have my song for free. To deal with this problem, some record companies have lowered their prices. Now, retail stores can sell them for less, and they're already showing results.
We're definitely selling more of the slash titles. Dropping the prices has really increased their sales for sure.
This means that some CDs cost $4 or $5 less than they did before. And Ian thinks that this is a step in the right direction.
A lot of people are turned off by expensive CDs when they can just get it for free, so definitely dropping the prices will work.
For Metrobeat, this is John Broom in Halifax.
Have you ever seen someone light their head on fire? Or swing a flaming rope? Some people are in awe of these stunts, while others are just scared of them. Earlier this week, I met with a pair that does this for a living. Here's the story. This is Ash Circle. They've been performing together for the last year. It's an art form they say is dying. They're one group and just a handful that perform these stunts. That's Ivan. His stunts are more daring than his partner Loki. Believe it or not, Ivan is afraid of fire.
Because I'm afraid of fire, first and foremost through my head, my mantra, my performing mantra is, this could kill you, this could kill you, this could kill you. Always going through my head. That's why I'm always hyper careful when I do what I do.
So why does he do it if he's pyrophobic?
You got to face your fears. You have to, if you're afraid of something, you have to approach it, you have to stare it in the eye. If it beats you, then it's no good.
He says his fear of fire makes it safer for him. He'll only do a stunt if he knows he's free from danger.
You'll think I'm completely nuts when I start breathing fire, but really, because of the amount of training I have, I'm safe.
Loki is known for his rope torch.
It takes a lot of concentration. It takes a lot of focus. If I lose focus, it tends to wrap itself around my body and sit against my skin while still on fire. It's a thrill. It's a lot of fun. It's the best job I've ever had. Probably the most fun job I will ever have.
When the torch touches the skin, it coats it with the fuel from the torch. At first, the fire sits on the fuel, not on the skin. This way it's extremely hot, but the fire isn't burning off the skin directly. It doesn't take long for the fuel to sink into the skin, and when it does, it burns.
It's probably best you don't know how it works. The more mystery, the less chance somebody's going to try it.
After the stunt, Ivan told me that he had second-degree burns on his head. It's already starting to blister.
It took me 3 months practicing 5 hours a day, every day, to learn what I could do. That's the equivalent of about 5 years of training.
Do they make a lot of money doing this? The group worked it out to be less than minimum wage when counting the hours they spend practicing and performing. Jacqueline Goff, Metrobeat, Halifax. Child abductions have been making headlines recently. With all the media attention, some parents are worried for the safety of their own children. Ryan Kane has a story.
It's a frightening thought. An empty swing, toys left untouched. Your child is missing.
I couldn't imagine. I had the hardest time. A lot of times I hear about the stories, I can't even watch them on TV because I just cannot imagine being a parent and going through those situations. Just, I never want to do it. It's like learning CPR. You never want to have to use it.
The National Missing Children Service says that Canadian children are at a low risk of being kidnapped or abducted. However, if parents are worried, the RCMP have these safety tips.
One of the biggest things is know where your child is at all times. Always keep a photo of your child, an updated photo of your child, so if we need to come and get that photo right away, if somebody does come out and try to grab your kid, to tell them to start screaming and yelling as loud as you can, throw your books up in the air, do whatever to draw attention from anybody that's coming around.
I don't know if I feel as prepared as I would be because in a way I hope I never have to be. But maybe that is something, because they teach the children, but maybe for the parents, what is the steps that I'd have to go through? I don't know if I feel that confident in that.
Nelson wants to make sure her children are safe. She is taking the first step, filling out a child identification kit, which will include her son's fingerprints and a sample of his hair.
It's just one of those things you pray, the dear Lord, that you'd never have to go through. So, because it would just be heart-wrenching.
For Metrobeat, I'm Ryan Kane.
Film festivals are popular all around the world. There's Sundance in Utah, Cannes in France, and even the Atlantic Film Festival. But this past week, there's a special film festival right here in Halifax. Jennifer Weatherhead reports.
There's something different about Oxford Theatre tonight. This is a festival of films, directed by and about Jewish people. A whole week of Jewish films in a city with only 1,500 Jews. But size doesn't matter.
even if it's a small community, it's something that binds the community together. And it's really important for the outside community, not just the Jewish community.
The festival is aimed at the Jewish community, but everyone is welcome.
There's no one thing that's Jewish. There's no one kind of person that's Jewish. Jewishness is incredibly diverse.
Rebecca O'Brien isn't Jewish, but she still enjoyed the festival. In fact, many moviegoers weren't Jewish.
I think it's a nice idea, yeah. I mean, it's a great way to bring people together and learn a little bit about the culture.
We've had a lot of people in the Jewish community here for these films, but we've also had people we've never seen before.
Well, I went to the Toronto Jewish Film Festival last year and the year before, and I saw some really great movies there. So when I heard about this, I really wanted to see some Jewish movies here as well.
This was the first year for the festival. Organizers hope to make it an annual event for Halifax. Jennifer Weatherhead, Metro Beat, Halifax.
And that's it for this week's Metro Beat. I'm Jacqueline Goff. Thanks for watching.